everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandragon's Cave. Today we are doing Inktober 52 and the prompt is free. I love this one for today. We are right now in the middle of the challenge. We just crossed the middle line of the challenge. There is a nice sketchbook tour around the channel right now that you can see everything that we've done so far in the Inktober, and now we start in the second part and with the prompt free. I love it, and I think I'm gonna do double challenge today. Let's just kind of mark here, like we always do, the space that we have to work. First rule of the challenge for today is we are gonna straight away do a free hand drawing without having to do a sketch or anything before, because the prompt is free. And let's play this game today. For me, before starting anything drawing, as you can see in the channel, the concept of pirates is something that amazes me. The concept of history, fantasy within the history as well, and epic fantasy most in particular. So we are gonna be drawing like some sort of caricature of Jack Sparrow that is one of my favorite pirates ever. So let's start with what I want to do is basically I want to do a Jack Sparrow arriving to the channel, and it's gonna be caricature. So as you can see, character, we will do as a typical beard that he has, like this, from the first movie. Very nice, with this kind of decorations here, very epic. Okay, so as I was debating to do different things, I didn't know what to do, and because this concept of freedom, I love it. So I was kind of, I'm gonna do some One Piece drawing, but no, One Piece drawing I'm doing all the time. I'm gonna do some cats, because cats for me is one of those animals that they are very free, even being a domestic cat. They do whatever they want, and I love it. But thinking, I said, you know, why not go in for a Jack Sparrow concept design idea where we do a small caricature of him. I'm not thinking about resemblance or things like this. I'm just basically doing my own Jack Sparrow, caricature of Jack Sparrow, my pirate representing the concept of free, the concept of freedom. And yeah, I hope you enjoy what it's gonna be today. I want to talk a little bit about pirates. I've been always a fan of pirates, and in the One Piece story, Luffy basically, if you follow the story a little bit, or if you started the story a little bit, Luffy wants to be the most free in the world, so the freest person in the world, and no one can tell him what to do, etc., etc. And I find that amazing in the concept for the piracy and everything. The fantasy that we see in the movies and in the series, and the story of pirates that we know through movies and books and things like this is all made up, and it's all references from reality, but it is not history, okay? So the pirates were free, yes, but the pirates were misfits, bandoliers, thieves, murderers and everything, and they were basically going around the globe, because you had pirates everywhere. You had pirates in the Caribbean, like Pirates of the Caribbean, in the 1950s, in the 1550s, sorry. You had pirates as well in the South Sea, in the China region as well, everywhere in the North Sea as well. You had the Vikings as well, that they date before they are dated before the pirates themselves. So those probably those are the guys who started the piracy concept and the pillaging concept on sea with these massive draggers and everything. And as well, as I always talk about One Piece, that is one of those things that Oda created One Piece as well because the concept of Vikings, okay, and his love for Vikings. So there were many problems. So if you were just a basic sailor like in the Armada, in the Marines, in everywhere, doesn't matter what country you were fighting for or what nation you were fighting for, that was a very dangerous, let's say, job to do, because in the middle of the sea, one doctor on board or two doctors on board, and that's it. You got plenty of seasickness that you could get and related to nutrients and food. And yeah, you had the freedom there, but all of these things are not portrayed in the movies much. You know, you see Pirates of the Caribbean, how they look and everything. They try to kind of parody, because Pirates of the Caribbean it's a comedy. So they try to parody most of the things there. So you stay with the epic fantasy, like in that movie called The Cutthroat Island. Cutthroat Island is an amazing movie as well, quite realistic and probably quite loyal to what the reality will be in the pirate world, and about fighting and clashing with other pirates and marine groups and everything. So the pirate concept itself, for me, as I said, I love it, and that's why I thought the prompt for today is very interesting. Inktober52, Inktober team is giving all of us freedom to do whatever you want. They didn't even put a person today, a guy or a girl in the section to kind of promote the video for today. They just basically said, we're gonna give you freedom to do whatever you want, because it's free today, is the word today. So I love it. Thank you, Inktober52 team, for this challenge, and thank you for the prompt today. And I could have drawn many things, as I said before, but I think I want to go for some kind of piratey looking caricature. Let's see. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of trivia about Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and the full saga, it is not from a book, it is not from a previous movie, it is not from any other piece or art piece that you may think. Pirates of the Caribbean is a Disney created franchise, and originally they had this attraction, this water spectacle attraction in the park, and from there they decided to, because they sometimes do these things, for there they decided to do, okay, let's add, that's what I love about Disney, okay, let's add storytelling to this attraction, let's develop the characters further, let's develop the story and the lore of these pirates, and they released Pirates of the Caribbean 1, very impressive movie, very nice movie, very beautifully made. I remember when it came out, the revolutionary effects, the VFX to create the skeleton guys, the crew of Barbossa, or the Black Pearl, that originally Black Pearl was captained by Jack Sparrow, if you have watched the movies, okay? So the effects that they had when showing the skeleton look, when walking under the water, when walking under the moon, because they reveal, this whole concept of the movie is like, Jack Sparrow, it's a nobody, and a nobody pirate, and then after a while you see how the story develops, and you end up realizing that he was actually the captain of that Black Pearl ship, the infamous Black Pearl ship, that now Barbossa, that was his number one basically, or Barbossa was his first in commander. They made a mutiny, and yeah, basically they end up abandoning him, marooning him in a, let's do, this is the boot. Okay, the boots are, the pirate boots are very, very white, very nice. So make it like this. They end up marooning him somewhere in the middle of the Caribbean, and he tells this fake story about, oh my god, marine turtle. So he apparently he wrapped himself with hair from his back. This is the fantasy of the pirate world that I love. From hair from his back, he end up. Let's do the master, because he's standing here on the top, on the crow nest. With the hairs from his back, he basically made string, like rope, and he tied together two sea turtles, the big ones that we see in the movie Nemo as well, and he basically escaped riding on top of them and went to another island. Epic fantasy for me. I love epic fantasy. You already know all these things, like Lord of the Rings. You see all the time drawings about elves, dwarves, goblins, everything in the channel, and Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Pirates of the Caribbean in general, One Piece. I love it. And any moment I have to do a little drawing like this that it is fantasy connected, I can't wait. So this is the top, the very, 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 very top of the ship, that is called the crow nest, because it's like a bird's nest there. And if you have seen the first movie, the first movie starts like this, and he's coming very, very epically, very musically epically, and when he arrives to the shore like this, very cinematographic, and then we realize that the ship, the boat, is sinking. And as soon as he arrives, it is blah 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 blah, and this is already the water level, and then he steps on top of the dock, there, and they request him payment. They say, oh, we need to pay. You need to pay, and this is because you just kind of left the ship here. What ship? I don't have a ship. It's too good. I love it. It's one of those movies I will watch again and again forever, because it brings me such joy, such freedom of ideas as well. It gives me ideas for my own stories, for my own characters, and yeah. If you haven't watched this movie, I recommend you to watch the first one, and I'm sure that if you like epic fantasy and fantasy, you will love it. Every now and then I check in my streaming platforms, the prompt is epic fantasy or fantasy, to see if there is something similar to this that come out, and that prompts in my feed to watch, because I love it. Okay. In Pirates of the Caribbean, okay, not everything is fantasy. You have famous pirates from history that they actually existed. Jack Sparrow never existed, but he is made from different pieces of different pirates, like Rackham and people like this, that the people that they created the pirate flag, the people that was considered the pirate king, things like this. And Davy Jones, for example, that is one of the biggest and the scariest guys in the series, is like a kraken, octopus looking, very fantasy. That is a real story from pirates that they used to be. The Davy Jones locker is basically, the Davy Jones realm is the bottom of the sea, and when you kind of don't complain with the rules of the boats and things like this, you could end up basically living with Davy Jones and feeding the fish at the bottom of the sea. And there are, tales and rumors and stories about secret kind of fantasy chests, gold, and a lot of a lot of treasures under the water and in his realm, and they are kind of cursed and things like this. And there is as well a lot of let's say reality in some of the bad guys, like for example Barbossa is a made character as well, okay, for the attraction, like we have Jack Sparrow here, okay, but the East India Company, for example, that they are the bad guys in theory in this story, they existed. They had a business of trading up and down all the time, and there's a lot of kind of stories about trading humans as well, slavery and killing and pillaging and everything, and hiring pirates, that those were called corsairs, that they were working under one or other king. They had a patent signed by the kings or the queens that they could do whatever they want, and on the name of these kingdoms. And the Spanish Armada was very famous in the Caribbean, very powerful. When they went there with the ships, with the boats, with everything, that was crazy. The Dutch as well, and the English as well. A lot of pirates, famous pirates in the Caribbean, were English, that they went with the fleets there to fight the piracy, and they end up fleeing and becoming pirates as well themselves. You have Blackbeard. Blackbeard, it's a real pirate that you have in Pirates of the Caribbean, and that guy was an Englishman. He arrived there with an English boat, and he ended up basically becoming the most feared pirate in the whole story. They have in piracy, you have this island in the Caribbean called Nassau, and Nassau was basically a stronghold of pirates. There were pirates from everywhere congregating there, and you had Hornigold as well. That you have Hornigold, a very small character in Pirates of the Caribbean, and that was a real character as well. One of the companions of in the piracy era of Blackbeard and everything. And like in One Piece, for example, you have Jewelry Bonnie is created from Anne Bonny, was a real pirate as well in that time. You had plenty of characters. If you like these stories of pirates and a little bit of fantasy, I recommend you, for example, the book called The Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. A very beautiful story, all invented, never existed. That is fantasy. Captain Flint, that is the main character of the story, never existed, but the mythology and the rumors from the character, there's one moment when the freedom of this story, that's what I love it so much, the myth, it becomes reality, the story, it becomes reality, and you read the book and you doubt yourself and you say, oh, is this actually real, or this never happened? And I love it. So I recommend you, for example, to read that book, to watch the saga of Pirates of the Caribbean. Is very interesting. There's a really nice book as well about no pirates directly, but sailing. It's an old school movie called Motin in the Bounty. It's very nice about slavery as well, and yeah, I have plenty of concepts and ideas. You can read One Piece, you can watch One Piece and watch the movies as well, the pirates fantasy with superpowers. And let's see, I think I'm gonna start adding a little bit of tones, because to be honest, I don't want to go much into details or anything. I don't want to go and fight for a resemblance. I don't want to do a caricature of Johnny Depp. I want to do a pirate on top of the thingy, Jack Sparrowy, and yeah, so I think this will be more than enough for what I want to do today. Where are my pens? As we always do with Inktober lately, we have these two Aqua Brush Duo. One tip is kind of a brush, the other tip is kind of a pen, okay? So let's do a little bit of tones everywhere. Yeah, nice. The concept of Blackbeard here is very present in the story of Pirates of the Caribbean, in the concept of freedom as well. And you have what the problematic in this movie, the extra threat that you have within Blackbeard is that Blackbeard is he's kind of a magic person. He has a magic ship in this story, and he controls it with his saber, with the sword. He moves it up and down, and the ropes move, and the boat is sailing, and the people, the crew members are kind of zombified beasts, very strong, and yeah, I'm very curious about what is going to happen with the story of Pirates of the Caribbean, because as you may have seen online these couple of years, there's been a massive controversy with the actor Johnny Depp and everything. I love Johnny Depp, and I guess he has his things his ups and downs like everyone, and you know, in his house he can do whatever he wants in regards of you know, I don't go into house business of anyone, but he was in court and he won and everything against the partner, and because of that, I think there was like a misunderstanding there, and something happened with Disney, and how you become so controversial at some point, so Disney, I guess, would say, no, we don't want you anymore in the movies, because this is a problem, and this is Disney being kind of more like a kids focused company, mostly of it. Maybe they didn't want all this problematic, and they kind of fired him, or he went away, and all these things. But there are a lot of rumors if he's gonna be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean, if he's not gonna be in the next Pirates of the Caribbean. I think he is Pirates of the Caribbean. He is Pirates of the Caribbean. And if you put other actors, other people, you know, you have William Turner, that is the same guy who does Lord of the Rings Legolas, Orlando Bloom. He's William Turner. He's a main character as well. Jack Sparrow, William Turner, and then you have Elizabeth Swann. Those three guys are the Pirates of the Caribbean. And then you have secondary characters like Barbossa, Davy Jones, etc. And they support the story. But to be honest, I love all the movies, but you see how in the latest one, Disney started a little bit to include younger faces, that it is beautiful idea, nice concept and everything, but I grew up with these movies, and it is so important, the character and the attitude of the character, that you can't replicate or duplicate that, and I think the audience feels that, and this is about the same concept. We are talking about pirates, we are talking about freedom, and the role of Jack Sparrow. So Johnny Depp has become Jack Sparrow. I've seen many interviews of, I love to watch interviews with actors and documentaries about actors in specific movies, like the extras that they come when you buy a DVD collection of something, okay? And basically, when the movie started, when they started recording the movie and everything, he was told by the director of the movie. He said, "Okay, you need to bring to life Jack Sparrow," and they basically gave him freedom to create the character. To basically, it wasn't written that Jack Sparrow would be this silly and this joking person and this careless person, and slowly he made, you can see in the first movie, this kind of ways of moving, ways of talking, ways of behaving, to make a very specific comic and cartoon character, but in real life actor, in live action actor, and I love it so much. I have to confess that Jack Sparrow actor, that Johnny Depp, is one of my favorite actors ever. I watched him in plenty of other movies, and in each one of those movies he is the character. He makes the character, he owns the character, and it is very nice. And I wanted to draw him. I wanted to do a caricature of Jack Sparrow, but it is obviously from him, from the freedom that the actor has in the concept of becoming a character or creating a character as a performance, and I love it. And I don't know if you will appreciate this talk, or if you are only here for the drawing, or only here for the Inktober part, or only here for the epic fantasy part. Maybe you never watched Pirates of the Caribbean, or maybe you watched it and you didn't like it, but I think I needed to talk about him today, and I wanted to explain about this character today, because for me is one of those references that marked and keeps marking my way of working, of creating and drawing and developing characters. It's a reference, and I guess for a lot of people it's a reference too. And yeah, so I would like if you write down in the section that we have the comments, what do you think about Pirates of the Caribbean? What do you think about Jack Sparrow and Johnny Depp performance? If you have watched the movies, if you haven't watched them, you can go to Disney Plus, watch them, and come back here and we open a discussion. I love to talk about the stories and the characters that I love, and Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp is one of them, and that would be very, very nice. Let's do all these lines. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Okay. Another of the reasons why I wanted to talk about or draw Jack Sparrow and Pirates of the Caribbean scene today is because I have watched all the movies multiple times, and he's always escaping from everywhere and escaping death. And in the first movie he becomes a skeleton because he steals one of the coins from the chest and he's cursed. So the final fight that he's doing with the bad guy Barbossa, that is all about, okay? And then in another movie he is kind of facing Davy Jones and the Kraken because he was swallowed by the Kraken, and he goes into the limbo, let's say into the limbo, and he goes into the world between worlds. So he's not dead and he's not alive, and he goes a little bit more crazy even there, But the constant thing is escaping death and being free, and initially he wants to become the captain of the Flying Dutchman. That's the Davy Jones boat, because Davy Jones is cursed and he can't sail forever. What he wants to do, the outline that I take from here, the story within the story that I take from the saga, the concept, the initial concept, probably sitting in the writing room for Pirates of the Caribbean saga, is we have this guy that it's a pirate, and he wants to be free all the time, no matter what. He wants to defeat death and he wants to live forever, sailing forever, being free. And that I even get goosebumps every time I say it, because it is so beautiful of a concept for a fantasy story, for an adventure story, that I love it. And basically, as I said, if you see every single one of the movies, he has the same problem. There is one of the movies as well that he is debating between, not himself, William Turner, the other main character of the story, is debating between the life or death, and he could have become the captain of the Flying Dutchman and be basically immortal, live forever and sail the seas forever that he wanted. Freedom, absolute freedom as a pirate. And the concept of friendship, the brotherhood, even in a pillaging world, in a pirate world, he basically decides to help his friend and make his friend the captain of the Flying Dutchman. And I think it is beautiful. It is a beautiful concept. He, at the same time that it reminds me a lot to Luffy. At the same time that he's a pirate and he should be bad and everything, he's good. And when he wants to do something, he's doing it, but in a pirate way, not in a bad way, but in a pirate funny way for him. And I think we need to thank a lot to Johnny Depp to have created this kind of spectacle within the character of Jack Sparrow, and it is amazing. I could be here talking about him, Pirates of the Caribbean, for days and days and days, and I would never shut up like I do with One Piece or other topics that I love. But I think, to be honest, we have done some sort of nice caricature here, some sort of nice scene of him arriving in the island. Another funny thing as well is that he is gonna be coming now into Fortnite. Fortnite, the video game from Epic Games. We have this kind of boat top, the crow nest. We have it on this in the middle lake of the map, so probably we're gonna have him in Fortnite soon, together with probably the main characters, Davy Jones, William Turner, Barbossa, and probably as well Elizabeth Swann. I can't wait for that, to see it and see the models and how they made them in cartoon, in stylized, and yeah. So today, as a mini quick recap, basically the concept, the topic, the prompt was free. I decided to go for Jack Sparrow, that it's a free soul, a free character pursuing freedom and wanting to sail the seas forever. I've been basically a little bit talking about him, talking about the movie, what was the movie originally, that was an attraction in the park, in the Disney park, and how Johnny Depp, the actor who plays this beautiful Jack Sparrow fantasy pirate, he brought him to life and to this comedy concept, and yeah, and on top of that we've been drawing him freehand, directly with the pen, doing some lines up and down, and defining some lines up and down. So I think this is all for today. Okay, let's just sign. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23, you can say it as you want, and this is the Mandragon's Cave. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the drawing and the talk, and feel free to subscribe, like it, share it, comment about this topic, whatever you want. Let's create conversation, send it to your friends and family and other colleagues that they may enjoy this type of videos or the One Piece videos, and yeah. I think this is all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye.